The member for Fredericton South and leader of his party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise on second reading debate, Bill 35, the Cooperatives Act. Mr. Speaker, this 130-page bill was presented yesterday for the first time, and so that's insufficient time to have any kind of a meaningful debate at second reading, Mr. Speaker. My temptation is, well, anyways, in a way, it should go to Law Amendments Committee so that we could perhaps call witnesses from the cooperative sector to get their views on this. But, Mr. Speaker, at second reading, it's, as I said, difficult to engage in much debate. In principle, this legislation the overhaul of this legislation was long overdue, Mr. Speaker, so I'm certainly pleased to see that the Minister of Finance has brought it forward now, which is great. I know many cooperative enterprises around the province and the councils that represent them have been looking forward to this bill coming forward for some time. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone into the bill, and certainly I and my colleagues have met with the representatives of co-ops and cooperative enterprises in the past about, in general, the need for overhauling our Cooperatives Act and the kinds of things that should be in the Cooperatives Act, Mr. Speaker. Again, in terms of the substance, I guess we're going to have to wait until committee to look at this in detail. Mr. Speaker, but cooperative enterprises, as you know, are an important and growing part of New Brunswick's economy, and just in terms of the sort of overview the Minister of Finance provided us on the bill at 30,000 feet here would suggest that the changes that this bill represents will help cooperative enterprises grow in New Brunswick and play a more and more, even more significant role in our economy. And the great thing about cooperative enterprises, of course, is, well, they're cooperative for one thing, and secondly, the wealth that they generate is retained in New Brunswick. It doesn't leave. In terms of economic development, cooperative enterprises provide a very special role, like as well many small locally owned businesses do, where essentially they're through their activities creating community wealth. And I call it community wealth because it stays in the community and circulates in the local economy, or circulates within the boundaries of New Brunswick, which is the way that we will develop our province more and more, Mr. Speaker. So that said, I'll wrap up here and just once again extend my thanks to the Minister of Finance for making sure this bill saw the light of day in this part of the sitting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.